Yeah, it's good.
So the question is fruit sweeter today than it used to be back in the day? If you ask, is an apple here? This is an organic apple, locally grown, organic, but more importantly, grown on quality soil. It's pretty sweet.
Can I try?
It's not as sweet as it could be, but it's not too bad. It's edible.
It's a friendly banana girl. Shopping banana.
Yeah, it is edible. It's better than your average supermarket.
But if you ask an 80-year-old or a 90-year-old, ask them, is the fruit today sweeter or more tart than the fruit when you were a kid back in 1920 or 1940? Every single person I've ever asked who's elderly, 60 to 90, always says, yeah, the fruit was better 20 years ago. I mean, I'm 42. The fruit was better 20 years ago. When I was a kid, it was a lot better. You go to the supermarket, get watermelon, it's just so sweet. Now you go to watermelon from the supermarket, it's like hit and miss. Even the organic shop, it's very hit and miss. The soil quality isn't as good as it used to be. And that means the lower Brix value. All right? If the soil's poor, the fruit's poor. And today's soil is very poor condition. So if you're going to say fruit has more sugar in it than it used to, that's just total nonsense. Because the soil quality around the world is far, far less. The topsoil erosion, it's just been farmed and thrashed and crashed. It's a fig. It's nice, I'm grateful. But there's nothing on the figs that I've had before. But this is organic figs as well. But I've had some figs from Holland in 2003. Wow. They were so good I still remember them. A packet of figs from 15 years ago. That was some special fig. So that's the deal right there. That's just debunked right there. Ask anyone who's living into fruit 20, 30, 40, 60 years ago. The fruit was way better. The fruit was better than 10 years ago. Even in my neighbourhood, we had a lot more fruit trees getting chopped down, things like that. So, do you want the rest of this?
Do you want it?
I'm good.
Alright, I'll have it.
Yeah. The apples in the 90s taste sweeter than they do today. So, this whole notion that fruit's sweeter today, no. These people have obviously never been a fruitarian and never had much fruit back in the day. They're just like parroting. I read that on the internet.
Yeah.
It must be true. You know,
And also they like to speak about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago when some fruits were the size of your pinky finger. And things like corn and bananas and stuff.
Which is also nonsense, because if you've got the Mayan Indians and the Aztecs, the pictures of corn they had, and the Egyptians, the paintings in the pyramids, etc. Big fruits, bananas. You go back to Asia, the artifacts there about fruit and stuff like that. So the sweet fruit was always around. The Native American fruit, the pawpaw, the Native American pawpaw is one of the highest sugar fruits on earth.
Sorry. So someone's calling, but your phone just went on 5%.
Yeah.
And it said recording will stop soon.
Okay. And so the Native American pawpaw is one of the highest fruits in the world sugar-wise, and it grows native in the USA. Native American pawpaw, and the average American would have no idea about that. No idea about that.
No.
And
but they would know the Dunkin' Donuts special that's on this week.
Yeah. And then, and that's where sugar gets a bad rap, because people eat sugar with all this fat, and then they get this insulin resistance. Fat causes insulin resistance. All right, this is fat right here, and on the other side of this hand is sugar. And on here is have insulin. Insulin's role is to go into the sugar over here. Lock into the sugar, put it into the cell. When you have dietary fat, that coats the insulin receptor site, so the insulin goes in, but it's not getting the sugar over here. All right, so the body has to produce more insulin, a wave of insulin to go over the top and get to that sugar to put into the cell. Otherwise, the blood sugar just keeps going up and up, and there's inflammation, etc. But it's not sugar's issue; it's the fat issue. So all you have to do is drop your fat down. Insulin locks into the sugar, into the cell. Boom. Perfect blood sugars, perfect fasting insulin, etc. But as soon as you increase your dietary fat from nuts, oils, avocado, animal products, Big Macs, whatever, fatty stuff, your insulin, your blood fat's going up, and your insulin needs have to go up, aka type 2 diabetes. Right? And this doesn't, you can be a vegan and get type 2 diabetes. You can be eating paleo or keto, whatever the fuck you're eating, and get type 2 diabetes. So fat is always the issue. So if you have high fasting blood sugar, If you have high fasting insulin, all you do, drop that fat right down, and all of a sudden insulin levels drop down because there's no wall. The higher that blood fat is, the higher insulin level has to be. Higher insulin means weight gain. Insulin is the most anabolic hormone in the human body. That's why professional bodybuilders inject insulin to make them grow even bigger. All right, this is a fact, and they're not diabetic. They're just using insulin. It's very dangerous. They can die. People do die every year, or they get paralyzed. All right, so don't use insulin. Like if you're a bodybuilder looking to get big. I mean, if you're diabetic, obviously follow your medication instructions. But what I love about coaching diabetics, especially type 2, is they're so in tune with their body, and I have 100% success rate with reversing type 2 with the coaching people. It's fantastic, and I see it time and time again. And they're like, why didn't my doctor tell me this? And I'm like, well, your doctor did tell you to change your lifestyle, change your diet. And like, well, they didn't tell me exactly what to do. They just said change it, which is very vague information. So 100% success rate with type 2 diabetes, and 100% success rate with improvement of hemoglobin A1C in type 1 diabetics, and a decrease in insulin, which means you can, decrease insulin units, which means you have less anabolic effect, and the type 1 diabetics can maintain weight better and have less, excess insulin side effects, etc. So, seen this time and time again. There's a guy out there called Robbie Barbaro, type 1 diabetic on YouTube. He's a fruitarian, raw foodist, high sugar diet. And I remember he came out for a bike ride with me a few years ago in Santa Monica, and he said he had the highest insulin sensitivity he's ever had, he could ever remember. And we just did a fun bike ride up and down the coast. So exercise really increases insulin sensitivity as well. So exercise, high sugar, super low fat, gets you insulin resistance, problem solved, boosts insulin sensitivity, and that's the diabetes there. So this whole thing that fruit is bad for diabetes or whatever. I mean, avocado's not so good because it's very fatty, and again, it creeps the blood fat up, and you need more insulin. So then your fasting insulin starts going up. Fasting insulin, weight gain. This is so simple, so logical, so pragmatic. The more fat you have in your body, the more insulin your body has to produce, which raises your fasting insulin, which also raises your fasting blood sugar levels, which creates inflammation in the cell, damage to the endothelium. So sugar gets all the blame for sugar gets all the so sugar's over here. Fat is like the culprit, all right? Sugar is like the innocent bystander here, but fat is like, the bad cousin, gets a free ride, and the sugar gets the blame. Sugar's not the issue. Sugar's a symptom. High blood sugar is a symptom. High fasting insulin is a symptom of too much dietary fat. So pull that fat down, insulin levels drop because there's no wall. All right, this is the wall here. This is your fat wall. You want your insulin to come down? Bring your fat down. You want blood sugar to come down? Bring your fat down. Simple as that. Fat goes up, blood sugar goes up, fasting insulin goes up. Insulin's role, it's a hormone, it's an anabolic hormone. Its role in the body is growth. Its main role is to get that sugar, put it into the cell. But it can't do that if it's blocked.
Carbs, carb the fuck up, motherfuckers. Carb the fuck up. Corn, rice, potatoes, yams, bananas, mangoes, steaks, plantain, melons, blueberries, blackberries, mulberries. Get them motherfucking carbohydrates in. Go vegan, motherfuckers. Carb the fuck up, the fuck up, the fuck up, the fuck up.